All right. We are live. So I'm going to hang on here. We're just waiting for people to come on. You guys with me?
Yep, I'm here.
Right
I'm
on.
here.
All right. So what I like to do is I want to go ahead and I'm going to pull us up. So on Facebook, so I can make sure that we're looking good. I want to make sure I'm looking as good as you guys are. All right.
There's a slight delay.
Hey, look at that. All right. All right. So it looks like we have one person on, and that's probably me, but that's how this goes, right? First, it takes a little bit, but because this is a recorded interview, it's not a big deal, right? Because people are going to visit it. People are going to fall in as we go, and then we'll be able to answer questions and stuff like that. But Blake, I would love it if you would do the honor of introducing the newest member of our communications committee.
Absolutely. We are so excited. Many of you may have heard him on our episode 5 podcast on mental health. But Dr. Wesley Willis, he's a nurse, but also a psychologist who specializes in behavioral issues, relationship issues, as well as trauma and PTSD. He's got extensive experience in regards to telehealth. And other than tonight that we were just joking about before we came on the air, he does a lot of stuff with communications and stuff via the internet. But we're having a hard time tonight, aren't we, Dr. Willis?
Yes, we are. I don't know. It's just something. It's funny because last night it was my third in a row, and it was disgusting. It was crazy. Thursday and Friday was like so super uber chill, but last night I had a patient who went complete bananas. And like for literally 5 hours, security was upstairs. Like everybody in the ICU was like helping me. It was crazy. So I think it's just kind of like this witch kind of like is on top of me. That witch that comes at like 6 o'clock in the morning for us night nurses.
Oh, that's it. That's when it happens.
Exactly. So she's still hanging around. She's like, I'm still here. You thought you got off scot-free when you left at 8:30 this morning. But no, I'm hanging around with you tonight.
Oh, man.
So Dr. Willis, or how would you like us as members to address you? Because we want to make sure that, we all respect you as a highly regarded psychologist, but how would you like us to address you as fellow members of AAMN and as we get to know you?
I mean, I'm Wes. You can call me Wes. Call me Wesley. Dr. Willis is so formal. It's so funny when I was working on my doctorate in psychology, I thought I was like going to be so ready for like this doctor to be called doctor. And then I got it, and I was like, yeah, I don't feel any different. Yeah. I feel the same person. So, yeah. I mean, call me Wes. Call me Wesley. The same that others have called me in the past, probably some better than others. So yeah, just refer to me as that. I'm perfectly comfortable with that.
Awesome. And Wes is one of many or several, I would say many, because there's we have to have some limitation on our communications committee, but this is going to be such a powerhouse. I'm so excited we'll be bringing these individuals on, as well as the membership committee members. We hope for all of you to get to know them. Because we are many faces of AAMN, and I think this new talent led by Mike is going to be just absolutely crazy. We saw Wes's intro video to his stream, that because we just came off of his stream.
Next level.
Is cool. It is absolutely awesome. So we're like, Wes, how do we need to do that for us? Like, how do we do that?
I saw it, and I'm like, we're bringing the right people in. We're bringing the right people in. That's great.
Yeah. So
like the Justice League.
What do you want to talk about first?
Who, me? Are you?
Yeah. What do we want to talk about first?
Man, I got there's a couple things I'd like to talk about. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Oh yeah. Oh man, there's a couple things I want to talk about. None the least being a little reminder about the town hall tomorrow. So just in case, because I know some people will get on and they'll only stay on for about 5 minutes. I'd like to knock these out. Okay. There's a few announcements I'd like to make. We have a town hall tomorrow night, and that's going to be 7 p.m. Central Time, right? 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And we can post that link below sometime during the Blake, if you don't mind handling up on that. If you have that quickly, you can just
I will. Below. I'll try to send it to you here.
And that way you can register to get your name on there, because space is limited. I don't know how many people are planning to be there, but it's going to be really, really a really great web conference. We're going to talk about our new strategic strategy, things that have been going on. We're going to talk about all these good things that we've been working on. So I hope that you'll at least take a little time. 7 p.m. tomorrow night. I mean, it's Tuesday. I mean, what day is this? This Sunday is Monday. Tomorrow's Monday. Nothing's going on Monday. Even know. What's going on Monday? Nothing. So you might as well hang out with us. That'd be awesome. Walter Charles Spears watching. Hey man, thanks for being on the show. It's awesome. So and we have a few other things. Let's see. We have a conference coming up, and I believe it's our 43rd annual LEAP conference, Men in Nursing conference. The AAMN conference is going to be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and that's going to be in October the 4th. And that is going to be I've heard that it's going to be the dopest conference that you could ever attend. So I'd hate to miss out on that. If you're on the fence and you're thinking, I don't know if I should go. I don't, is it really going to be worth it? I mean, just going to Milwaukee, for anything is going to be worth it, right? We're going to have a great time. The conference is going to be great. In between is going to be great. Wes, are you going to the conference, man? Are you thinking about it?
I am. It's on my list because it falls like the month right before I go to Antarctica. So yes, I am.
You're going where?
Talk about offline.
This is another thing we're talking about tonight. We are definitely talking about this. Okay, your travels, your exploits.
Yeah.
We got to talk about that.
I'm that nurse.
Ian Saludaris is watching. Hello, sir. I hope you're doing well. As is the mother of all seasons. I was doing better, man. So this is going to be the link, guys, and I'm going to post this. To register for the let me see there, to register for the actual webcast tomorrow, the town hall. It is right there. Bam. So all you got to do is go there and register. 7 p.m. Central. And then
you want to do that again, Mike? Because I don't see the link. I just see comments from Facebook Live. As long as you see it.
It should come up. I put it in the comments for Facebook Live.
Okay, cool. Oh, yeah, I see it. Never mind.
See it right there?
Mm-hmm.
I should be able to put some comments right here, too. Also, and this is really cool. Watch this, guys. We're going to put that up there.
What?
You guys see that?
Wow.
Look at that.
Dang, look at there.
It is now official. Yeah, it is now Be Live Facebook official.
Yes.
and then
this is going to be really awesome. This right here, this is the Nurse Tim. This is the trip to Haiti. All right. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
So that's going to be in October. I can't see it that well. Can you see it? Is it October 5th?
It's at October 5th through the 14th. And I think we were talking about last week. It's, why don't you just get on a plane, come to Milwaukee, and then from Milwaukee, get on. We were getting Dr. Bristol or Tim Bristol on getting a private jet down to Haiti, and everybody's just going to go together.
Oh, that'd be
so. He's working on that. He's working on that to see if.
Hey, can he get a private jet going out of Milwaukee so that people can go on the 4th and on the 5th fly out of Milwaukee, right?
Yeah, and I think it's the plan now.
That's a done deal right there, man.
Yeah, might have to come from private funds though. I don't know. I don't know if AAMN could swing that right now. We can swing a lot of things, but that one might be a stretch for the board to release.
It's a good thought though.
Yeah, very good.
Thomas Rossini. Hey, thank you. I have my air and hotel room ready, man. Right on. That's great.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
What is that? What hotel room is it? Is that where that's where the party is going to be after every day, right?
Yeah.
Hey, just DM me the hotel room, man, and that's where I'll bring all the all the party goers, and we'll
all drink sparkling water together.
Sparkling water, yeah, of course, sparkling water.
You got to keep it PG, because
we're
there.
And we'll talk about the day. Conference. We'll talk about the day. The Blake Smith Suite.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, guys. So those are our announcements, and let's get back to the man of the hour, Dr. Wesley Willis. This guy right here. So
yes,
we just had the privilege of being on his show, and this guy, he's got stuff going on all over the world. It sounds like he travels all the time. I mean, because he does a lot of teleconferencing, right? Telehealth. And so he can work from anywhere in the world. I mean, I can't imagine having that kind of freedom. Where are you working? Well, any beach that has Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's it. I'm working from DR.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Or Antarctica.
So tell us about that. How did you get into that? I mean, obviously, everybody's thinking, well, how can I make this work where I'm not working all the time, or I'm not bound to one place, forever?
Right. Well, I think the whole high tech movement has really done us actually a service as practitioners. So when you think about, and I know you guys don't live in New York State, New York State has really been progressive in trying to make things happen. So like now in New York State, for the last maybe year or so, they have like made it a mandatory thing that like things like prescriptions have to be electronic. So like when you think about like advanced practice nurses and medical doctors and PAs who write scripts, that can be done from anywhere. Yes, you can, it's important to like physically see your patients. But at the same time, that movement has also created things like Medicare reimburses for practitioners to see patients via telehealth, telemental health. A lot of the major insurances, United Healthcare, Cigna, Aetna reimburses practitioners for patients being seen via telemental health or telehealth therapy. So you think about like all of those things, and that's really where healthcare is moving, because, when you think about things like population health and population health management, you want to be where the patient is, and patients aren't technically coming into the hospital. They're coming into the hospital, but not in the way that we need them to. So in terms of managing the care. So I kind of got started from like working in managed care. So working from home was really how it started. Working from home, managed care organizations, doing reviews as a case manager and utilization review nurse, and just talking to hospitals and talking to different people. And then it just kind of like jumped from there in terms of like my imagination about how I can make this really truly work and be flexible enough for me to work my 40 hours a week and also get to see the world. So, yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome, man. I got to figure it out. I got to figure out how I can do that. I like the idea. Hey, you're going to Antarctica? I mean, come on, man. Antarctica? What's in Antarctica?
So I'll be honest. I'm going to be very transparent. That's one thing about me. I put out a thing on social media. I was like, yeah, I'm going to like see all 7 continents by the time I'm 40. So I've seen so then I was like, oh, I've gone to Australia. I've seen everything. And a friend of mine said, well, what about Antarctica? I was like, Antarctica's a continent? He's like, yeah, dummy. And I was like, so since I put my foot in my mouth, that's my last continent to see before I turn 40. You can't.
So you can tell awesome. You got to make sure you tell your clients to be like, no, seriously, I'm calling you from Antarctica.
Literally.
I am not messing with you. Like,
that's crazy.
I'm literally calling you.
So how long? I mean, you honestly, if you're just going for that reason, you can just step off the plane and then step back on the plane and come back home.
Like, well, it's an investment. There's actually no less than a 5-day cruise to Antarctica. There's like a plane would cost you $20,000 to go. And while I work a lot of overtime sometimes, $20,000 is
you see my eye twitch?
So
20 grand to fly
20
to Antarctica?
grand to fly to Antarctica, and that's from the most southern point. So
that's because they don't even like going there. They're like, listen,
you gotta make it worth our while
per person.
Right. Exactly.
Wow.
So I had to take a cruise, and the cheapest cruise I was able to find was $6,000. So it's a 5 to 6 day cruise. So
unbelievable.
That's kind of how it goes. But I'll be honest, as I've done more research, I'm incredibly excited. It's one of the, like, in terms of travelers, it's like one of the most significant experiences that you can have. It's like considered like one of the last places like travelers go. So hey,
I believe that. I believe that. It's the last place I think of going.
Let's hear, Wes, that for Ian says that telepsych and telestroke medicine is really big in their organization in New York too. Is it just big in general in New York? I mean, I'll tell you, we're getting to that point in Nebraska medicine, like where I'm currently working in administration in the informatics area, and though I'm the liaison, I hear all the IT talk going on with the telehealth part, and they're getting to that point. They really want to do psych and having across the state. But is it huge in New York already in regards to telehealth?
And I mean, so much so that we have at the hospital that I work in, we have EICU. So we have ICU nurses, trained ICU nurses. I forget what their level of experience and qualifications are. I thought about interviewing for the job. From wherever they are in the sky, they literally are in the room with us. They can actually measure the size of patients' pupils. It's that good, and it's getting to the point where actually from the work that we're doing in my particular hospital is actually that at some point they may be able to verify blood with the nurse. Like they can be that their electronic signature.
Man, that's
that
great.
Second verifier. And
that is great.
Do you know I have to like run out? Can somebody help me verify this blood? It's got to be back to the lab within 10 minutes.
I know.
Like on the hop.
Amazing.
Exactly. So if they can like sit there, because the cameras are so sharp, those cameras can tell you like what the settings are on the vent. They can tell you what the settings are on the pump. As long as they're facing that camera, they are very present in the room. I've been in a very bad situation, and a physician like a physician comes in the room, can write orders from wherever they are, and you have a doctor's order to run the code. He can run the code from there. I mean, it's high tech. It's going to take some transition for nurses, but I think New York State is definitely, a lot of the hospitals in New York State that can afford it are definitely going on that route. I think the nurses, honestly, don't quote me if I'm wrong, those nurses make pretty well to be wherever they are, because they are sitting in their house or their beach or wherever they are. And they have like monitors.
That's what I want to be doing.
Sounds amazing.
Exactly. It's that nursing.
That sounds amazing.
Is an incredible profession for us guys. I mean, I never would have thought like 16, 17 years ago that this is where we would be. It's amazing.
Dude, that's exactly how I feel. And people ask, well, have you ever considered being a doctor? I have. And even every now and then I think about it. But then I remember my grandfather, who was a doctor, and he worked every day, even on his day off, working, just always working. The money, great. And even then, the money's not as good as it used to be, right? Because now you have higher cost of insurance. You have all these other expenses. School alone is so expensive. It just doesn't seem to be worth it to me, right? And as nursing, I just think, man, wow, what a fortunate experience that we have to work. We work 3 days a week if we want. We make great money. Sky's the limit as far as what you can do as a nurse. It's just like, this is the place to be. It's like the best kept secret. And I know I've said that before. It's like the best kept secret. And it's just unfortunate that most people don't know how great a profession that this really can be,
And that's why we're bringing the troops together now with this new platform. I mean, I think our members are starting to realize, I'm starting to realize how cool this technology is that we've never done this and I don't think any other association has really done something like this where their leaders are videoing on a weekly basis and talking with everybody. And by the way, Walter said you need to start training for that Antarctica marathon.
Okay. I
You
need
get on
some
that?
assistance. I need some assistance. I'm a night nurse.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know,
so,
man.
you know,
I mean, just doing a marathon by yourself, just doing a marathon, that's one thing. But then
Yeah.
doing an Antarctica marathon.
No,
man.
you think it would sound like you're in those big, like, squishy things? It's like,
Yeah,
for
the
like
whole
20
time.
miles.
Oh my gosh, man. If you make it that long.
Yeah, if you make it that long.
Right.
Thomas says I can't even do a 5K. Yeah, exactly, man. Woo, it'd be rough. Well, that's anyway. So yeah, that's great, man. Because I'm gonna be a nurse practitioner here pretty soon, and I'm thinking, how can I implement something like what you got going on?
Mm-hmm.
And if I have to work 4 days a week, but I can do it from anywhere, that'd be fine with me.
Hey, buddy,
because
you got 4 boys and one on the way.
I'll bring them.
Just think about the flexibility that it'll allow you to have. I mean, you like you just said, the typical nurse who work 3 days a week. But then think about like how you can spend those 3 days a week being at home and doing what you enjoy doing, being a nurse. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I think just coming down, which I know that this probably already happens, but just having someone in front of you face to face instead of just a phone call, especially for like coaching for nursing, because a lot of people show nonverbals. They could blow smoke, to kingdom come. A lot of times we all know that as nurses with patients that they're telling them they're all good and they're doing this stuff. But, the majority of our assessment skills comes from nonverbals that we can see through, they're just vulnerable. They're sometimes they just don't want to share that information, and having someone face to face in a controlled environment to have that to build that relationship. So, who you're talking to, I think means the world to people. And I know that you agree with that, Wes. I mean, you do that with your clients all the time.
Right.
I mean, you have to be able to see them.
Right.
And so I think this is going to a whole new level. And what we're doing is we're such a big enterprise at Nebraska Medicine. We're a 1,000-bed hospital. And, I know we're not the biggest, but we're 1,000 beds in one location. And it's not across the state or anything. If you add up all the Community Connect sites, we're bigger than that. But it's like, how do you get to a meeting? I'm in charge of all care planning and patient education execution for the entire health system.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have meetings with subject matter experts, or we call them SMEs, all over. So I'm jumping, to meeting. And plus I've got to help build. I'm the project manager to help build what it looks like in the system. And I won't say the platform because I'm not going to be plugging any platform over another. But
we ain't plugging anything.
Yeah. But at the same time, we just finally went up on a platform that we can have these virtual meetings. And, I like getting out of my desk. I need that face-to-face time.
I love it, man.
Can't be on a phone call. I can't be on a phone call. People talk over each other, and there's this, I don't know if you guys have seen it or anybody out there too. I'll have to get a link for next week, but it's always, if a conference call was in real life, it's one of the most hilarious videos. It goes through people being on mute and all that stuff.
I want to see that.
I will share it. It is, and there's another one that says if emails are in real life. Those are the two videos, and it's absolutely hilarious. People talk over each other. They mute. People are multitasking. I mean, you got to be able to interact with each other. And so like this platform, I think is perfect for our membership, is that people get to interact, and, we get to see them in lifetime. Any question that you have throughout the year, you're investing in this association. We need to be out front with you, not just once a year, not just on a phone call every quarter for us just to list off the things that we're doing, because we should be proud about the things we're doing, but we need to have these conversations and to always actively be doing something. That's what an association is supposed to be.
I totally agree.
And I think we're the first to embrace it. But then again, we're forward thinking because we're starting to be operated by millennials and led by the veterans and the influential leaders in this profession. It's the perfect model. I fully embrace it, and I think others are starting to as well. Talking about that a little, Wes, I know that you had been a part of AAMN prior, about 5 years ago, and I don't know when you stopped paying, but when we approached you, talk about the difference of why you came back into AAMN and why you're so invested now.
Yeah, so I was a member of AAMN. I was, I think one of the people who, I can definitely say Bill Letcher, was one of the guys who like inspired me to be a part of AAMN. And when I came in and I went to like my first conference, I think my first conference where we were in North Carolina in Durham, maybe, or something like that. And I was like, not for nothing. I was like, I came all the way from New York City for this. Like, this is not what I want. To go to the football game, I can watch the football game somewhere else. Yeah. But I felt like there wasn't like this great deal of like communication about what was going on, or even more so, how to make, being a chapter, because New York City, I may want to say New York State, we didn't even have a chapter of AAMN. So you had nothing to be no local support. You just basically had to be kind of like a member at large. And who wants to kind of be paid just to be a member at large? You kind of, one of the things that I appreciate about AAMN was the camaraderie. So like I noticed like the guys in Cincinnati who were there, Ohio, and some guys from other chapters, they were like brothers. Yeah, we get together on Saturday, we hang out, we do all this thing. And I was like, well, that's what I want. I don't want to, right? Because I mean, I don't even recall getting like a newsletter or anything about what was happening. And so when I had the conversation, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to just say, conceptually, it sounds awesome, right?
Right. Exactly. Who doesn't want to be a part of something like that, a brotherhood like that?
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, well, I need that here and locally in my state, so we can do something like that. And I didn't have like a real true format or like mentorship here locally. So I said, okay, well, I'm paying $250 for American Nurses Association, and I'm paying $225 for National Black Nurses Association. I'm paying all this money and I'm not getting any return on like my investment. So I just kind of like stepped away from like a lot of stuff. And then when I met you guys and started, hey, this is what we conceptualize, this is what we want to do, I was like, oh, wow. Okay, so great, fantastic. Because I had over the past of the like year or so been working on social media stuff myself and trying to be very kind of like out there and forward, because I think that it was so important for nurses to kind of be present. And I just didn't see the other organizations like really being motivated about making that happen. There were kind of like talks and like the other associations that was a part about, but like the real kind of true investment. And let's be honest, it's an investment in social media to try to like figure this whole thing out. And when you don't think that you're going to get a return on that from like members joining or different stuff like that, they're like, okay, well, we're not really going to invest that kind of money until we really know true what it's going to be our return. So to talk to you guys about it, I was like, let me jump on board. Let me get involved, because I already have been like doing all this research, and like I can just see this being really huge and working out for the association.
That's awesome, man. That's exactly how I feel. I here in Dallas, there was, when I first heard of the AAMN, I'm like, yeah, I think I want to join that organization. And I had nobody prompting me. I had no, I didn't even know anybody in the AAMN. I just thought, wow, what a cool idea. A way for men to come together in a profession and just, talk about issues, and maybe kind of hang out, and just kind of, like you said, the camaraderie of having other, male professionals that you can, network with and just, whatever. And in Dallas, I reached out to the local chapter, and the guy who I spoke with said that there just wasn't much going on anymore, and the people that were involved just kind of fell away. And so I was a little discouraging, but I'm like, well, I still think that, it's awesome. Surely I can, do something with this thing. And then not long after that, it was the craziest thing, man. I ended up meeting Blake, and then he gave me his vision. He told me about what he'd like to do. And dude, I tell you what, man, if you really want to get people on board, don't try to convince people to get on board. Share your vision, and the people that connect with your vision, they'll jump on board, right? And that's kind of what happened with me, man, because he told me about all the things that that needed to change, that he felt that needed to change, and I thought, man, what a cool thing to be a part of, to really, really just move a new era, forward in an organization and be a part of something like this. And so, I just want to affirm you for taking that step, man, and just you've made the right decision, because we're going to be a part of something just monumental. I really feel like that. And I love the idea that we're doing things that other organizations aren't doing. We're reaching out to our members. I tell you what, there's one thing that people in this organization can't say. They can't say that, the people at the top, the people on the board, or the people, at the regional level or at the national level, they can't say that we weren't reaching out, that we weren't communicating, that we weren't trying to connect, and make sure that they had everything they needed, because that's our main goals, so it's really cool to be able to move forward in that way.
Right.
And we're
right.
First of all, you guys are making me blush, but at the same time,
I mean, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Yeah, but I think you guys speak to a good point, where the history of AAMN has been. At first, with the percentages being so low, we needed somewhere to congregate, to share our ideas, to feel like we belonged. But I think where we got to the point is that we kind of hit a ceiling in regards to, we became very fragmented, because Wes, you just made a great point. When the time that you came in, here's Cincinnati, and I know Oshkosh has Wisconsin Oshkosh has a powerhouse chapter, and now New York City has an awesome chapter. Oh my goodness,
right?
They do, and you feel so fragmented, where you're like, I want that. And so when people come to the conference, everybody was so about, just getting together and having that brotherhood and all that stuff. And I think we got to a certain point where we're like, okay, now we're starting to fall apart, because what's the unity of purpose?
Right.
So one, it was hard.
Technology. Yeah, what are we doing this for?
It was hard for the technology. We weren't utilizing technology to talk with each other across, or during the year. So for those that felt like they were out on an island, there's no reason to be in it any for a long period of time, because you just feel like you're out on an island, and then you pay $1,000, spend 3 days with somebody, and then come back home and do it all over again.
Right.
So I think the first thing we're doing right now is that people are starting to notice on the group here is, one, we're bringing everybody together. That's phase one. And then once we bring everybody together, because we want to expand this, we don't want this to be this small sphere of influence. We want everybody to know about this. We hear all the time, people don't know about us. So once we get collectively together after this town hall tomorrow, where we roll out, this is the messaging, this is what we stand for going forward, but we're actually going to have an action-oriented strategic plan. We discussed it a little bit in Vegas for those who were in Vegas, but it's no more of just getting together and having a cocktail and reminiscing about the year. Those things are great. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I love doing those things as well. Because sometimes that's that self-reflection and that team reflection time, that you share your stories. But we need to show the nursing profession that we can contribute, and we are contributing, and we need to do it collectively. And that is the missing part that I think that, one, we need technology for, like this platform, but also we need people that are actually at the front lines doing the operations from day to day. The biggest thing that I hear from the ANA, and I'll just flat out say that the bedside nurses don't feel like they're being heard. Students don't feel like they're being heard. And that's so unfortunate, because there's so much power in the ANA. And I will tell you, I want to be a part of the ANA. But again, Wes, you speak to the value. What's the value? And millennials, there's different value sets, all different generations. And so that's something we got to be very, very in tune to, is all the different values of what people get out of association, and make sure that they feel like they're being involved, they're being engaged, they're being, there's serving a purpose for the overall good of the association and the profession. That's really what it's about. So you have to listen, you have to interact on an ongoing basis. You can't sit up in your ivory tower, which I don't completely agree with, but that's the perception of what's going on in these other associations. And so let's break it down. We're going to be completely transparent. We're going to be in front of you on a weekly basis. If I'm going to start trying to learn everyone's name, I know it's not going to happen.
My name is Michael.
Oh, dang it. Let me write that one down. What am I? But, that's what we need to be doing. We're all the same, from a CNA or a high school student that is thinking about being a nurse, all the way to someone who's written 100 articles for the nursing profession. We all have the RN behind our name first and foremost.
There you go.
I don't care if you have a PhD, an MSN, a psychology degree, all this stuff in the nursing profession. You're a nurse first, your specialty second. And
Right.
That's where we start with that unity of purpose. I don't care if you're an RN, an LPN, a diploma nurse, a retired RN. I don't care if you served back in World War II, and we're a medic. We have to be one and the same. And once we get that, that's where the power comes to truly change our communities, because we got the numbers, but we're going to be the first ones to the table to do this. And that's what I'm so excited about, is that those that were in power at the board when I came on, it's just in awe that they're like, we're thinking about doing this. I was like, oh my gosh, they're actually thinking about doing this, is handing the reins over. Like I am just awestruck. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then the next week Brent comes to me and goes, do you want to lead this? And I'm like, okay. but cause I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get a whole new wave of individuals. But I will tell you, you don't have to sell a thing. I just called up Wes. I called up Blake. I called up Klaus. I called up Mike, and I'm like, hey, they're ready to hang over the reins, and they want to mentor us. I was like, I didn't have to say another word. That shows all of the people out there that have realized that and reflected. We can't thank you enough as millennial emerging leaders. We've been waiting for this day, and we so highly respect all of you, and we're ready to take this in a new direction with your help, and we're gonna do something awesome. I really think we're gonna do something awesome.
So I have we have somebody here, Walter Charles Spear. He lives in Houston, and he says, I did not realize there were local chapters. I am in Houston. I'll have to check it out.
And this speaks to that fragmentation. This really speaks to that fragmentation that I talk about, and Wes talks about, is that people join and then they're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And so we're helping establish chapters with regional committees that provide you a nice, Tom. I appreciate that. But that we have past presidents that are from these powerhouse chapters that are coming to be a one-on-one liaison for these new chapters for sustainability. We're not going to have pop-up chapters like we had in the past, where they popped up for a year and then boom, they folded, because there was no foundational structure. Well, you have to know how to do that. Someone's got to, it's very easy to start a chapter in AAMN, but it's very difficult to sustain it. And there's certain aspects, whether you're within a health system or whether you're in a university, there's certain things that are key to your success. And it's all about messaging too.
And, being, in social media now, and really pulling together, or at least trying to pull together all our members. And, because there are some very, very successful chapters. Wes, in New York, it is blowing up. Ian Saludaris, you're on the Nest right now, on the video cast. The Facebook Live, excuse me. I'm still learning all this. These terms, right?
This lingo.
You're on the tomato, whatever. Whatever this is. But his chapter is just exploding out there. And there's a new chapter that just started out there, and just there. So in New York, man, that which you were hoping for back in the day, it is alive and well now. There is some big stuff going on.
Right.
And back to you though, I would like you to because it's getting a little late. It's 10 after 9. We don't want to push this more than 30 minutes. We did a poll, and we polled all our members, and all those that participated in the poll, rather than a 45-minute or a 60-minute slot, they would prefer a 30-minute. So we want to keep it, within those 30 minutes. All right. So, but that being said, I would love it if you would tell a little bit more about what you have going on besides Like, I want you to tell them about your
Mhm.
social media presence. Can you do that real quick?
Yeah, definitely. So I do bi-weekly. So I do a bi-weekly live stream, typically public, but sometimes in groups, depending on like what the topic is about, surrounding relationship issues, trauma, and mental health, and most times it all ties in together. It goes live on Facebook, YouTube, and Vimeo. I try to switch it up because I think. One of the things we've learned about social media is you have to keep ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And so I'm always trying to be ahead of the curve, but at the same time, not really always so savvy about it. Like tonight's stream, we had like a really great conversation, and it only went the audio only went to one source. I have no idea what happened.
It was a great conversation.
Exactly. But I'll be honest, I tie it all back to my work when I was working with American Nurses Association. One of the great people who helped me kind of get involved was Karen Ballard. And like trying to like encourage people's activity. So that's how I got like even more engaged in like social media, like Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and trying to engage nurses. So I just took that once I left American Nurses Association and kind of like took that in my own way. Like, hey, you know what? Now that I don't work for them anymore, let me work on like, bringing nurses together, bringing everybody together to kind of be savvier about kind of like what's going on in the world. So
That's
it's
awesome.
conversations about relationships, because at the end of the day, we can all say, you know what? I really don't need anybody, but we all need one another. Whether it be kind of in our professional experience as a nurse to kind of support one another, or whether it be in our personal lives with our spouses, with our kids, with ourselves. So that's what basically my message consists of, is kind of like having people on my show, or sometimes I do it with just me, and basically talk about different topics that are going on in real world, and like how we can kind of all live and be healthier, because there's so many things out there that are basically telling us that we're not healthy. Like this recent shooting in Texas. I mean, man, that's crazy. That we are seeing like this insurmountable number of like people who are going out like hurting others because
Killing people.
I know. It's scary. So I think if we start like getting back to the basics, using these platforms, then that's what's going to work. So that's what I'm doing.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
And we're so glad
for all the right reasons,
Yeah. And we're so glad that you decided to come on, and again, every single person has, we all kind of I don't. Mike and everybody. I'm learning all these things as I'm going along here. But, there's everybody knows a little bit about everything, but we've got powerhouses in certain areas of the communications committee, and it's made up of people who are successful already. And that's what's going to take this association to the next level, because we're not just using social media because we have to or feel like, well, that's where people are, so let's go do it, like reluctantly. We're embracing it. And that's a difference, in my opinion, is if you embrace it and utilize it and always think forward thinking, let's see where this goes. I mean, This is the future, I think, for associations, because I hate to say it, most technology is not, a lot of these things are free platforms. I know this, we're using Be Live now and it's very minimal cost, but these things are pretty cool. They're pretty dang cool.
I know, right? It's unbelievable. I was listening to a audiobook by Mel Robbins called The 5-Second Rule. And she was talking about people, who might want to go out and, make it big in not social media, but like in broadcasting or journalism or something like that. And she's talking about, hey, don't wait, because the people that they're looking for are going out and they're doing it themselves on YouTube. They're doing it on whatever platform, right? Because it's possible, right? And so that's the cool thing about social media. And that's why I think a good communications committee is going to steer this company in the right direction, as far as even just bringing awareness to the organization, because once I was aware, I was like, I'm in, that's awesome. So we can just bring awareness. That's the first step, I think, that, because if people know about it, at least they have the choice to decide to do it or not, right? But they don't know about it, then they'll never come in.
Yep.
Well, listen, guys, this is good. This is real good. It's 9:15. We have people actually already signing off. I just want to say thanks for all you who visited us with us tonight on the live broadcast. Thomas, thank you, sir. Congrats all. An excellent live event. Ian Cellularis, thanks. It takes an entire team. We just appreciate you guys. And we hope that to see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern time on the at the town hall. It's going to be really, really good. It's going to be a great conversation. And, if I was a member of an organization and I really had, some skin in the game, I'd want to know this stuff, right? And, I'd want to know if I was a chapter leader and I had members that I knew that weren't going to be able to make it, I'd want to know so I can spread that word, because this stuff is important. And it would really, really, if I was in a local chapter and I couldn't make it because we all have crazy schedules, right? I would love it, if somebody could kind of, whoever's there, they could sit in, whoever can sit in and let me know about it because I want to know. So,
yep. And we will record it as well. So for all of you on the West Coast, we have 6 time zones that we've got to cover. Right. So there's no way that we're going to hit everybody. I really wish we could, but it will be recorded, so you will not be left behind. I promise you. And if you are, I'll sit down one-on-one with you. Mike and I will sit down one-on-one with you. Wes will sit down one-on-one with you and get you up to speed. That's how much we are committed to you. That is what's going to happen. We're no more that people feel left out. People are in the dark. Everybody is the same within this association from top to bottom.
Awesome. Well, all right, guys. Thanks for coming. Wes, man, thanks for taking time. And, man, I'm just so excited to get to work with you. I've already learned one thing. You know exactly how to start an intro. I need to teach me, man. Teach me how to do this.
We're going to make it happen.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. New project.
Awesome.
Well, you guys take care, man. I appreciate it. I look like a little guy among giants here on my right and my left. That's awesome. Well, listen, you guys take care and good night.
Yeah, good night, everyone.
Take care, guys.